Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday. Is it March 18th? It's crazy, right? Time is flying.
What is the market?
What is the market? The market's going to be a great market. Donald Trump is pouring rocket fuel into the market. It's going to be 6 months of tremendous amount of uncertainty. And like all things, we just don't know, right? Like if tariffs really work at the end, which they should, then you'll see that the U.S. economy will be booming in time as we start producing things here, and as the market is able to go ahead and adjust to the new realities. Things will change with Hashem. But in interim, whenever there's uncertainty, there's FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you're going to have a situation where people are scared. Right now, it looks like big institutions are selling. They want to keep their position in cash. They think there's still an opportunity for things to go down even further from where they are right now. If there's a war or anything happens, if things escalate in the Middle East, and that spills over to other areas, a lot of things at play. So we're not sure. I still think it's a buying opportunity, especially with companies that have good fundamentals. A good company like Tesla, like Palantir, Meta. I really like Meta a lot. Actually, I like what they're doing right now as far as their virtual reality glasses. I think are really cool. Augmented reality glasses. I think that they're really pioneering it. There's a lot there. Google, I like also. I like Microsoft. I like the big, the FANG stocks. Anyway, so Facebook, Amazon also is really cheap right now. People don't realize that most of Amazon's big business is not in what they do in their sales. It's mostly for their cloud services. AWS is huge. It's only going to get bigger. It's going to get faster with AI. There's a lot of opportunity there. So I like those things. Anyway, that's my market update. Okay, we left off. We're in sanctuaries and times. We're talking about Chodesh Nisan. And we said that at the spiritual level of Egypt, Mitzrayim, known to us as the acme of moral degradation. We spoke about how Mitzrayim is a place where all negative spiritual forces came down to. We're preparing for Pesach. Bezrat Hashem, Pesach is less than 24 days away. So it's happening. Jack, just fact check me there. Anyway, I just want to make sure, that we're.
It's looking like it's less than a month away.
It's approximately. What is it? 24 days from Pesach? 23 days from Pesach?
It's 23.
It's loading. Holy cow. Okay, fine. Anyway, Kitzur is like this. We know that the title for Egyptian kings is Paro in Hebrew is also significant, right? The word Paro in Hebrew is to lay open or to unite. Right, implying the goal of Egyptian rule was to break down the defenses and the personality and lay it open to the inroads of the Yetzer Hara. We're on page 12. Once this power gains full control, spiritual redemption is no longer possible. We are told that Israel was near the point of no return from before the Exodus. If there were 50 gates of defilement, Israel reached the 49th level. Some say this is the reason why they hastened God to redeem us. Significance of this quotation is at the head of the article should be apparent. If the Holy One, blessed be He, had not taken us out of Egypt, at that particular moment, we would have remained in eternal bondage to Paro and Mitzrayim. We would never have escaped that particular defilement represented by these two terms. Now, it's interesting. Like for us, freedom isn't just the ability to have your body to get out and do whatever it wants. Freedom is freedom of the mind, right? We all agree that. Like if I could go ahead and enslave a people, right? It doesn't have to be behind bars. I could create a society where individuals are trapped in a particular kind of thinking. And therefore, Mitzrayim was that. Where do you see this ideology today? You see it a lot in India. In India, you still have something called the caste system, okay? The caste means that you're born into a particular family group, and you're stuck. You can never get out of it. You're stuck. Your father was a shoemaker. Your mother was a street sweeper. That's what you're going to be for the rest of your life. You can never. There's no upward mobility. You are where you are, and you just deal with it. Imagine just being born stuck. This is the antithesis of Judaism. This is why, by the way, the first mitzvah that the Jewish people got was which mitzvah? HaChodesh Zelachem. Now, why was that the first mitzvah?
How come some people say it's Puruvu?
No, so the question is, when we look at the 613 commandments in the Torah itself, the first command that man got, Adam, was Purvu Mulu Ta'aretz. It's true, right? But we're talking about as the Jewish people came as a nation. This is why Rashi says, the first Rashi in the Torah, he says, the Torah should start with HaChodesh Zelachem. We don't need the stories of Genesis, because there's other commandments later in the Torah that talks about Purvu, right? And it could be, you could argue that it was specifically a decree to Adam because there was no one there. What about now there are people who says there is an obligation to have children? And the answer is no, there's still an obligation even when there are kids to have children. There's no one there. Okay, easy to say Purvu. There's nothing there. Go ahead and have children. Who says that's forever? right? Anyway, Kitzur is that Chodesh Elachem is the first mitzvah in the Torah for one specific reason. If you don't have agency over your mind, you're stuck. So what was the agency? The sun was the name. What was the name of the god, the sun god in Egypt? Anyone know? The sun god in Egypt's name was Ra. Right? Ra was the sun god. And the sun god taught Egyptians something very powerful. That nothing changes. As a matter of fact, the idea of En Chadash Tachat Shemesh, nothing is new under the sun, comes from Shlomo Melech, but really it's an idea in ancient society. If you were a patrician, right? If you were part of the elite upper class, you were always a patrician. If you were a pleb, you're always a pleb. Things didn't change. Lower class stayed low, upper class is up. A king remained a king. He saw himself as being getting his his status from God. And just like the sun never changes, the king's status never changes. His children will always be kings. Now imagine being born into a society where you're taught for over 200 years that you'll always be a slave no matter what. No matter what you do, you're going to be a slave. You're going to be an Eved no matter where you go. You don't have control over your time. So what is the first mitzvah Hashem gives to the Jewish people? Zman. What is the word Chodesh? The word Chodesh comes from the same root as Hitchadshut. Chadash.
Yeah.
Newness.
No,
renewal.
Renew.
To renew. Right? Renewal.
It's like a
that
snake.
you're no longer a part of what it was. You're part of something new.
No, it's like your renewal of like a snake renewal
Taking its skin.
Yeah, so it's like a replacement of.
The idea is that you're breaking out of the confines
Yeah.
of time. You can be something more. Now, what's interesting is like this. We know that the sun and the moon represent masculinity and femininity. We spoke about this before, right? The sun is masculine, the moon is feminine, right? So my question is, why are we associated with the feminine moon? And the answer is because we're always receivers. As human beings, you're always reminded that Hashem is giving you everything. It's a gift from God. Just like the moon has none of its own light, it's only reflecting the light of Hashem. That's our job. What are we supposed to do here? You get in the way, your ego gets in the way of you being a mirror to reflecting God's Ratzon in this world. Right? So we're the moon. Now, think about this. Where does the moon rise every single day?
East.
And where? Every day. Where?
Right, the moon rises.
Oh, moon.
Where does the moon rise every single day?
It rises different place.
Oh, I have no idea. But where does the sun rise?
East.
And where is the sun? And where does it set? In the west. Where is it in the midday? If you want to find it, 12 o'clock. Where are you going to find it? Right up top of on top of your head. Right above your head. In the moon. If I ask you tonight, where am I going to? You go outside. Show me where I'm going to find the moon. And the answer is I have no idea. Right? But this is a foreshadowing the nature of men and women. Women are very unpredictable. Right? Men are very predictable, right? Emet, right? So you see that it's foreshadowed in the moon and the sun itself. Men, we know exactly where they begin and where they end. For women, they're all over the place. Depends on the time of the month. You have no idea where they're going to be. Anyway, I'm sorry, ladies, if you're listening, Mechila. It's not meant to be an insult. It's just the reality. Women and men are different. Okay, freedom of the spirit. Okay, so this is what he says. He says, when we call Pesach a time of our freedom, Zman Cherotenu, we are not only referring to past events. At this time each year, every Jewish soul has access to the spiritual influence of spiritual freedom. We are given an opportunity to recreate in our imagination the experience of escaping from a regime of overwhelming defilement. This can strengthen us in our resolve to continue our battle with our own personal Yetzer Hara until we reach ultimate victory with the help of God. Instead of merely celebrating historical events, we can turn to Yom Tov into an ongoing reality. The recurring date can alert us to fight for our own spiritual freedom. Now, so we know that in Judaism, we don't believe in a linear view of time. Like for us, time does not go like this. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So if we do this like year 1, year whatever it is, right? So if an event happens over here, and right now we're over here on the timeline, I have no shaykhut to whatever happened here. We're moving away from this point in time. That's how the secular world sees time. We don't. We see it like a helix. Okay? So all time is a spiral. And if I have this moment in time over here, this is Pesach, throughout this spiral, well, look down here, throughout the spiral, I'm always reconnecting to this point in the timeline. And therefore, every single year, I can reconnect to the power of freedom in the month of Nisan. And it's specifically when? On the 14th of Nisan. How do we know this? We see from Abraham. What did Abraham do? Abraham sees the Malachim and he serves them matzot, right? You see that Yitzchak asked Esav to go what? To go do the Korban Pesach. It's all happening at the same time. How do they know these things? It's not like this. Imagine you're like Jack and you understand coding and programming. Okay? Yeah, you do. Anyway, stop being so humble. It's okay. You're allowed to brag a little bit. Okay? So you know coding, right? Does Jack? Yeah, he's a coder. He's a coder. Yes, he's a major coder, major hacker and coder. Anyway, you don't know. I'm not going to tell you his hacking name. Anyway, Kitsur is that like this. Does Jack need to run the program to know what the program will look like, or could he just understand it from reading the code? A good programmer could read the code and say, oh, I get it. This is this color, this is this and that, and he'll have an understanding where the program ought to be. Right? You don't need to run the program. For us, we're not programmers. We look at the program. The program just tells us how things are. Now, another guy, right, an even better programmer could look at the program running and say, oh, if this program is running, it needs to have these code in the background in order for this program to be running the way it is. That is Abraham and Yitzchak. Each of them have a different power of either looking at nature or looking at the code in nature to rip out this concept that freedom is connected to the month of Nisan. It's always there. Revolutions, all these things happen in the month of Nisan. Now, for us as Jews, what are we interested in? We're interested in one thing: the development of the self, so that we can bring God into this world. My personal development. I'll give you an example of this. Ready? You know the Sfirot, right? You have Keter, you have Chokhmah, Bina, Da'at. You have Chesed, you have Gevurah, you have Tiferet, you have Hod, the right leg, Sod. Sorry, you have a Hod, Netzach, the right leg, Sod, the left. Netzach, Hod, right leg, left leg. You have Sod and Malchut. What is Malchut in the system? What does the word Malchut mean? Kingdom. Whose kingdom?
You.
We're aiming for your kingdom, and the kingdom we're trying to reign over is ourselves. And therefore, the idea of Chokhmah Bina Da'at, and as it comes down through the whole entire system, is really an opportunity for us to rewrite our own programming. We want to control our own selves, our program. Who do you want to be? Are you just a victim of the bad traits that you inherited from your parents or your society? Or are you someone that has the ability of rewriting the programming? And we believe you do. The malchut at the end of the system, of the Sfirot, is having access to full control of yourself, your own kingdom. Well, what do you want your kingdom to look like? What kind of a king do you want to be? Do you want to be the lazy king, or do you want to be the benevolent king? Do you want to be the proactive king that is building a society? Do you want to be the king that's getting up every single day and waking up early and thinking about how you can make the world around them a better, greater place? Chodesh Nisan is a time for us to be thinking about it. I think it's not this Shabbat, not this Shabbat. Next Saturday night is Rosh Chodesh, right? So we are less than 10 days away from, around approximately 10 days away. Approximately 10 days away.
11 days.
11 days away. Today's Tuesday, right? 11 days away from Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So there's two kinds of people: the people that just show up, and then people that prepare. The people that prepare understand that this is a time to be thinking about already. Well, how do I make my Rosh Chodesh Nisan powerful? How do I make my Pesach powerful? What am I going to start doing? I take out the halachot. I start getting out ready. I'm reading the Haggadah in advance. I'm preparing. I'm rethinking through these things. I can walk away with something new and meaningful. Most people don't do that. They just show up. This is, by the way, part of the custom of my family is when we do a bi'ur chametz, we're burning the chametz. You know what we do? I make all my children take, for each piece of bread, there's 10 pieces of bread we burn, I have them write out 10 midot that they want to burn. 10 traits that they feel they wanted to be better without. I make them think about it. And then when we're watching the fire burning, that's how we go into Pesach. We go into Pesach. I write it each down, 10 items. I put them with each piece of bread, and I set it on fire every single year. Because I want to burn those midot. I want to get rid of them. It's not just doing rote. It's about creating a reality where you're elevating the self. So this is what he's saying over here. He said that this is not this. This is Zman Cheretenu, means that we can be free. What's holding you back? Yourself. You're holding yourself back.
You hear that, Avi?
So how do you become
Yeah,
free?
it's all about losing weight.
How do you become free? How do you become free?
Losing weight is about discipline. Right?
How do you become free? Even if you want to take Ozempic, you have to make the choice to take Ozempic. And therefore, everything goes according to Bechira. The Rav Dessler always reminds you that the word, the keter, the crown, Chokhmah Bina Da'at, is ratzon, is will. The power of asking questions, Chokhmah, Bina, Lahavin davar mitoch davar, to extrapolate an idea from an idea. Da'at, the experiencing or applying the information. okay, is all in the realm of Ratzon. And therefore, we call it Yemei Ratzon, right? Which is later in the calendar. But this is the time, the precept of that. How do I get there? Okay, are you really free? Or are you stuck? Do you look in the mirror and say, I want more, or are you happy with less? That's your prerogative. It's your choice. You're free. Do what you want. But we believe in freedom. And therefore, this Pesach that's coming up, Bezrat Hashem, is an opportunity to reimagine who we want to be. If you got out of jail and you could be whatever you want, what would you do? Did you ever see Shawshank Redemption? Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest films ever made. Top 10 films ever. Okay? The people that come out of jail after 30 years, most of the time, can't readjust in society. They always commit suicide. They just don't know how to live. Right? They don't know how to do like this. Is like a guy named Daniel Kahneman. He's actually a famous Israeli. That's right. He was a Nobel Prize winner for economics. Just found out this past week that he died from an assisted suicide.
He killed himself?
Yeah.
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 Right. So it's just crazy, right? How does the guy's a genius? The guy's a genius, right? So this is the problem. If you don't have spirituality, if you don't have clarity, a vision of what you can become more, if you think that all you are is numbers, if you think that all you are is stuck under the realm of the sun, that nothing changes, then why bother living, right? The suicide rate in America, you know right now that the suicide in America, the highest rate of suicide is by white males over the age of 35. The suicide rate in America is the 6th cause of death. You could look at that up, right? It moved away from, it used to be diabetes. Now, diabetes is the 7th cause of death. Suicide is the 6th cause of death in the United States of America. Now, the reason why this is happening is simply because white people are like, you know what, the most privileged, most educated, wealthy people on the planet are killing themselves.
Left coming after attacking white men.
100%. But that's because they found no value in their own lives. And I want you to know, I'll be honest, I used to think like this. I used to think, once they get old, I'm gonna live like a Spartan, party hard. By the time I'm 40 and finished, I don't want to get old. I don't want to lose my faculties and get sick. I'm going to go out hard, and I'll choose when I'm going to die. You know, there's a philosophy like that. This is antithetical to Torah. Part of the Torah process is living out your life and recognize that every single moment is a potential opportunity for growth and development. But if you feel like you're stuck because you're not free, then why should you live a long life? Anyway, B'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we're going to talk about what is freedom. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for listening.